Welcome back, my DC subbies, and to all others who haven't subscribed yet and jumped on this roller coaster. Hopefully by the end of this video you will have. Now, this is episode 2 of a 3-part mini-series on the Dumb Criminal channel, so if you haven't watched episode 1, please do so, as this 3-part mini-series is about showing the distinct differences between interrogation styles when interrogating DC who is on the autism spectrum. Episode 1 shows you what we call the cotton gloves tactic, and in this episode we get to see the complete different tactic of the bull interrogation technique. A quick jog to the memory on this DC. DC2 has murdered his mum in a blind rage, and he's set the scene to look like it was somebody else. Then he's taken off down the road to his mate's place, and from there he's rung up the cops. And now our DC2 is sitting in an interrogation room and is about to put his genius plan of getting away with murder to work. Ladies and gentlemen, and my DC subbies, I now give you DC2 and his bullshit story.
Then take me through what happened.
She, left the door locked, left the cats on. I guess she never locked it. And then later I heard her scream, and I went out into the living room and outside.
How did you get to the living room?
The porch door was unlocked, so I opened it up and I went outside. The door was open. The front door.
Where did you hear the screaming from?
Somewhere in front of the house, either like right by the door or outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you hear some screaming, so you go into the house. Did any part of you think that it was inside the house?
No, it sounded like it was by the front door.
Okay. So it sounded like it was by the front door. So you go through the house. So you see this, and what goes through your mind?
I went over to her and I asked if she was okay, and I went to pull the knife out, but I stopped. She didn't say anything. So I went to pull the knife out and I stopped. I don't know if I should do that. And then I got in my car and I went to Christians, and then I called 911.
So that's story number 1 from our genius. But here's the thing. The cop already knows that it's complete bullshit. And there's just one thing that he bases that off. And it's one of those things this cop believes in. And that is high velocity blood splatter. You see, old DC didn't clean himself up too good. So now this big bull cop knows that old DC was standing very, very close at the time when his mum was stabbed. So now all this big bull detective's going to do is start crushing DC's story 1 to pieces by asking DC questions which are going to make his story sound like bullshit. So now let's go ask question number 1.
So when you got in your car to go to Christians, why? My main question is why wouldn't you call 911 from your house?
I wanted to make sure I was safe before I did it.
Okay, so what went through? Were you concerned about being safe when you went up to her?
I don't know. I was just in a blind panic.
A blind panic?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try to turn her over, or no?
No.
No. Was she making any sounds? No.
No.
Did you try any type of CPR or anything like that? Okay. So you walked through the blood?
I got some off when I got to Christians.
Okay. How did you get it off?
I rinsed it off.
Okay. Using what?
Just water and a towel.
Okay.
Just wondering if any of you DC subbies out there watching this can remember the first time that you found out that doing what this DC just did by washing up was actually another crime of tampering or destroying evidence. Let us know, and let us know where you learnt it from and the true crime, or even if you're just learning about it now. Let us know below in the comments. Now let's get back to the DC, who actually believes that the detective believes his story 1, and the detective who's thinking, this goddamn DC just killed his mum.
When you went up to your mom, what exactly did you do?
I went down the ground and I kind of moved her to see if she was okay. She didn't say anything. I like yanked on the knife, but I didn't know if I should pull it out.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so. I think during when I was running through by the front door, I think I lost my glasses, but I had an extra pair.
You had an extra pair on you?
Yeah. Well, in my car, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, when did you put on the extra pair?
In my car.
In your car on the way to Christian's?
Yeah.
Okay. So, try to take the knife out.
Mm-hmm.
Which hand do you use?
I use both, but mostly this one.
Mostly the right hand?
Mm-hmm.
So, was your mom, she wasn't making any sound, was she breathing or anything like that?
I don't think so.
Did you check her pulse?
Now this detective is going to switch it up again by allaying back to DC that his story sounds a bit bullshit.
So when time is of the essence,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy's already ran away,
Mm-hmm.
I can't get over not calling 911.
I didn't know what to do.
Have you ever called 911 before?
Mm-hmm.
Never?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, just give me a second.
So where do you think that detective's going? I would proffer a guess that by the direction that this interrogation takes when this cop gets back into this room, that he's gone out and asked his superiors, how do I handle this? Because this guy's on the autism spectrum. His superiors says, don't treat him any differently, man. Hit him with the bull technique because this DC pussy looks like he'll crack. So that's exactly what this bull does.
You know what I think is kind of a strange thing? Is that we've been dealing with you for how many hours now? Do you know how many hours it's been? Do you know how many times you've asked any of us how your mom's doing? No? Are you going to ask?
I'm afraid to know.
Huh?
I don't want to know.
You don't want to know? Why?
I she might not be okay.
Tell me what you mean by that.
I don't want to know if she's okay or not, but she might not be.
What makes you say that?
I saw her, she didn't look okay.
Describe that.
She didn't. There's a lot of blood.
So a lot of blood. I mean, what does that mean?
There's a lot of blood.
Where was the blood?
All around her.
Uh-huh. And you only touched the knife?
I bent down and I touched her to see if she was okay. She didn't say anything.
Uh-huh. So rather than call 911, you got in your car
Yeah.
and you drove how many miles?
Like half a mile, it's not that far.
And then they had to tell you to call 911 because I've been sitting here and listening to your excuses and whatever you're saying, and it's gotten a little bit aggravating, especially when you haven't asked once how she's doing, which I think is strange. I mean, you're 23 years old, 22 years old. Your mother raised you, and you don't want to know how she's doing? I think you know how she's. I think that's the problem. I think you know how she's doing.
Is she okay?
Why don't you tell me?
I don't know. Why would I know?
You don't know? You don't want to know.
No, I don't.
So then why'd you ask me? Okay. Your mom's dead.
When they say that silence is deafening, this is what they mean. You see, there's silence. Silence because he doesn't know how to react. He never thought about that question. And now that it's upon him, he's screwed. Because he's a DC.
You got nothing to say. I'm not even done telling you the crazy shit. So fucking brace yourself.
But
Do you know what high velocity blood spatter is? You don't? You have high velocity blood spatter on your shirt.
you know,
Yeah. You do. Do you want to try again and tell me what happened tonight?
I already told you though.
Okay. Tell me one more time. Humor me.
From where? When I was out on the porch? Or
yeah, you were out on the porch and you heard screaming.
I was on my porch on my computer.
Sure.
I heard screaming. The porch was unlocked, so I opened it and I, at some point, lost my glasses while looking.
You see there, the DC knows he's got to explain why his glasses are broken and they're at the scene of the murder. But the difference between a DC and the rest of the human races is that the rest of the fucking human race would know that putting it in right there and saying it like he did then is not what you do.
I went out through the front door, which was already open. I went down, or the guy was already making way past the driveway where the turn is.
You're still sticking with the guy?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
It was at this time in the interrogation that our DC realized that his story, one, wasn't going too well.
Okay.
Keep going.
I bent down and I asked her if she was okay and she didn't say anything. I tried to bite the knife, but I didn't know if I should move it or not.
So then why touch it?
I don't know.
Where'd you recognize the knife?
It looked like one of ours.
Oh, it looked like one of yours.
Yeah, we have a kitchen knife thing.
So a knife that came out of your house, right, that you walked through. Did you walk past it where the knives are?
Well, the kitchen was over there, so yeah, I don't look at it.
Okay. So you walked out, you walk through the house, you walk out front, and you see her and the mystery man standing at the end of the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you are scared of you're scared of the mystery man, right?
Yeah.
But you develop immense courage for several seconds and you run up to your mom. Just long enough to get your DNA on her, right? And on the knife.
Well, that to me was already far away.
I get that, man, and that's why your fucking story makes no sense. He was already far away. You have no reason to not call the police. But yet you told us on a sworn statement, you tell us that you went to your friend's house because you're scared of the masked mystery man.
Yeah.
Right, so you weren't scared anymore, but then what happened? So you walk up to the knife, you grab it, right? How do you get high velocity blood spatter on your shirt?
I don't know.
How? Just give me something, man. Don't just give me, I don't know. You can't tell me how some of this blood splattered all over your shirt. You do this, and you hit, right? The blood spatters, okay? That's how it works. Do you know what fucking physics is? That's how it works. If you're standing on the back porch and somebody else stabs your mother, that blood doesn't end up on your shirt. So explain to me why your mother's blood is splattered at a high velocity. Are you just trying to piss me off? I don't understand. Just you, with blood all over your toes, scratches on your arm, you lost a pair of glasses, you got a stretch on your V-neck, you got blood, your mom's blood, your dead mother's blood on your chest. You've still got your dead mother's blood on your chest. If you didn't think she was dead, you wouldn't have left, my man. You would have called 911. If you didn't think she was, you already knew what I told you. You didn't even flinch. I've been doing this shit for 12 years, man. I've dealt with the hardest gangsters in Flagler County. And when these dudes find out that their mother passes away, or their family member, they react. Gangsters who have been killing people, shooting people since they were little. You, though, I'm telling you right now that you got your dead mother's blood on your chest. I'm telling you that you got high velocity blood spatter from your mother on you. Tomorrow, they're going to tell us that your DNA, your skin, is under her fingernails. Did she scratch you earlier in the day?
No.
So you're going to maintain that you got scratches from a human being on your left arm from leaning up against a cone. How does that happen? Explain that to me. Because that's just like the fucking science with the blood spatter. So explain to me how that happened. Tell me, I'm listening. Do you react to anything?
What do you mean?
You don't react to anything. You're not really, I mean, you're just in here stone cold, like you don't give a fuck about anything I'm telling you.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean? Would you not say that I'm laying some heavy shit on you right now? Or maybe you deal with harder shit when you're playing World of Warcraft. I don't know. Huh?
I don't play that.
Okay, whatever you play. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
What am I telling you?
You said that I did it.
Yeah.
Didn't though.
Listen to me, man. Tell me where else the blood would come from.
I don't know.
Give me a fucking theory.
I was pulling out the knife and it got on me. I don't know.
You were pulling out the knife and it got on you. But you didn't move the knife. The knife is still in her.
Why didn't you take it out? No.
No. That doesn't create high velocity spatter. Remember? That makes high velocity spatter. A slashing motion makes high velocity spatter.
You're about to hear one of the most useless examples of a tactic from a read technique, or what we call the fisherman cast, used in a police interrogation ever. Listen to this guy.
Do you think maybe that something happened and it got taken out of hand? Do you think something went out of hand? Maybe that's what happened. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you and your mom get in an argument and then try to scare her and it gets carried away. Maybe she hits you. I don't know. Maybe she hits you and you react on instinct. Huh?
She wouldn't hit me though.
She wouldn't hit you?
No.
She knocked your glasses off. Do you know what we do with dead people? You know what we do with dead people under suspicious circumstance?
No.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't want to know. It's creepy.
We bag their hands. We put bags around their hands.
Why?
To make sure that they weren't fighting and trying to defend themselves when they were killed.
So now this detective's gotten to the stage where he will now go full bull on this DC.
Your mother was murdered. Your mother was murdered, and she's got the DNA of whoever murdered her under her fingernails. How can I say the words, your murdered mother, to you, and you don't even react?
She's not dead.
She is dead. Do you think that I just find guys and tell them that their mother's dead when she's not? What are you thinking, man? What are you thinking? What happened? Take me through it. Tell me what happened. Tell me the truth. Your mother's fucking watching you. She's dead. She's watching you. What happened? You're seeing it in your fucking head right now. You're seeing what happened. You're playing it over in your head. You are playing exactly the moment that your mother was killed in your head right now. You are not on the back porch, you are right there, and you fucking know it, and that's why her blood is all over your shirt. So explain to me why this happened, or are you just a psychopath who kills their mother for no fucking reason? Give me an explanation. Tell me something. Tell me something so I don't walk out of here and say, this fucking guy, he can't even own up to the 22-year-old man can't own up to some shit he did. You're gonna blame the shit on your fucking dad because you don't fucking like the guy? What do you see, man? What are you seeing? What? She's dead. She's dead. Yeah. She's been murdered. Your mother was murdered and you were right there. Yeah. Yeah, she is dead. She is dead. She's dead. That's the shit that you did. That's what you did to her. She raised you and you killed her. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. You grabbed a kitchen knife and you stabbed your own mother in the fucking back. What kind of person fucking stabs their own mother in the fucking... A piece of shit? A complete fucking psychopath? And then to blame it on your fucking dad? You're fucking sick. You're a sick fuck.
How have you been treated so far by the officers here?
Well, they're not mean.
And as I said in the start, it's stark contrast in interrogation style, and each one of them the correct style to obtain the confession from each of these DC.
And you can't even fucking own up to it. You can't even look at me in the fucking eyes. You're staring at the ground like a little fucking bitch. Why are you crying?
No.
Why are you crying?
No.
What do I have to do, man? Do I have to do what the movies do and put a bunch of pictures of her in front of you from every angle? Is that what I have to do? I mean, what's it gonna take for you to fucking man up? Just fucking man up. Just fucking man up.
Why would I do it though? I would never.
I don't know, because sometimes things happen on impulse. If something happens on an impulse, that's one thing. You know when you stub your fucking toe and you could just punch a hole through the fucking wall. And that's not some shit that you would normally do.
So in contrast to DC1's inability to use a defense for the crime of passion, this bull plants that seed in this DC2's head. So simple yet effective.
There's a thing called crimes of passion. There's a reason that the state of Florida, whenever there's a domestic violence...
Did you find anything else there?
And isn't it just crazy that the DC shuts down a cop, giving him a lifeline, and tries to steer the direction of the investigation somewhere else?
Where?
Where
she died?
Did you find anything else nearby?
Like what?
You see, right there, I think this DC does know. It is my belief that this DC actually planted something to be able to throw the investigation off and point it away from him, but he knew enough not to actually come out and say it. And that's something that makes this DC2 a lot more cunning than the other DCs that we've covered on the channel in the episodes. So our cop leaves the room and goes and sees his buddies again. And he's obviously told, this time, take a different approach. This time, use the cotton gloves technique. And it's obvious that this bull has never used it before. So they say, well, just give it a go anyway. So now we'll see this detective's use of the cotton gloves technique, which is about as good as his fishing.
Hey.
Don't worry, it doesn't last for long.
Come on, Twizzler. What's going on? Thinking? Doing some searching? What? What do you think? What's up? What's going on? Talk to me. What's up? What are you doing now? What is this? Come on, man. All of a sudden now you're in your feelings? What's up?
I didn't do it.
Huh?
I didn't do it. Should never.
Huh?
Should never make me do something like that.
Hey. Look up, real quick. What don't you understand? I'm not speaking Greek. I can do that if you'd like, but I'm not at this point. So what don't you understand? Why would she open the door for
The cotton gloves technique is now finished.
a masked man? And then, after he stabs the fucking Christ out of her, she runs after him? How much sense does that make, man? But that's your story. That's your story. It's bullshit, but that's what you're going with. And then, you get to her, but she's already dead, which is also highly unlikely. Because, as you told me earlier, in a sworn statement, Mike, as you told me earlier, you moved through the house pretty quickly. So this fucking psychopath stabs this woman, and then she runs with him towards the front of the property. Do you see how this is becoming a little comical? She runs with him towards the end of the property, and then this human being who's running away, but he's still in your sight. You still see this person, but you don't see your living mother. How many problems are there with that story? And why do those problems exist?
And now the cop thinks, oh shit, that's right, I'm meant to be doing it with cotton gloves. Yeah, I better change back to being a nice guy.
Hey, let it out, man. It's gonna eat you alive. It's going to eat you alive. You should be ashamed of yourself, man. Your mother's up there, and you can't even admit to what you did. It's gonna feel a lot better once it comes out, and then we can work. We can work together on trying to patch things up. Are you religious?
This is a beautiful play by this detective.
You panicked because she was going to kick you out.
Yeah, I didn't want to go alone.
Okay.
What do you think?
And you guys were standing in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay. So she told you she was going to kick you out, and you panicked.
Yeah.
And did she do something to make it worse? I mean, what happened?
She was just yelling at me, and she grabbed me, and I panicked.
And by panic, he means he got so infuriated with her that he snapped and stabbed her.
Did she grab you?
She just grabbed my arm, just tried to talk to me. I panicked.
Okay. And then what?
It just happened.
Where did you cut her?
The neck, I think.
And how did the knife end up in her back?
I put it there so if I could do it, I would need to. But I don't hate her.
You don't hate her.
No.
You need anything? Okay.
And that pretty much wraps up DC2's interrogation. Now, during this second interrogation of DC2, you most likely have felt the feeling of empathy. For at times I did, but I was to learn the error of my ways, and that lesson I shall show you in episode 3. So please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and click that little notifications bell so once we upload episode 3, you'll get it straight away. And then, my DC subbies, we can all have a chat. So, until then, all of you, especially my DC subbies, especially you guys, stay safe, and I'll see you subbies on the next episode.